New York City reached a $2.1 million settlement with A&E Real Estate covering 14 buildings in 3 boroughs, with Mayor Zohar Mamdani saying the agreement will force repairs and stop what he described as tenant harassment. Today, I am proud to stand here to announce that New York City has come to a settlement with A&E Realty regarding 14 buildings across 3 boroughs, Mamdani said Friday at a news conference in Jackson Heights, Queens. Asked during the news conference how aggressive the new administration plans to be with landlords, Mamdani said, "We want to make it clear to everyone in this city that no one is above the law, and that if you are a landlord violating the law, then this administration will hold you to account." Mamdani said the settlement requires A&E to pay $2.1 million in restitution and includes injunctions preventing them from harassing their tenants, while compelling the company to correct more than 4,000 building code violations across these 14 buildings. For years, A&E has operated with callous disregard for those residing in its properties, racking up over 140,000 total violations, including 35,000 in the last year alone, Mamdani said. City Hall will not sit idly by and accept this illegality, nor will we allow bad actors to continue to harass tenants with impunity. A tenant, Diana De La Paz, described conditions she said residents have dealt with at her building, including prolonged elevator outages, heat issues, and infestations. De La Paz said the elevator in her building has been out of service for long stretches, which she said effectively imprisoned elderly and disabled tenants in their own homes. Housing Preservation and Development Commissioner Dina Levy said the agreement will affect 750 tenants across 14 buildings, and said the city's litigation has produced a settlement that will lead to the correction of more than 4,000 housing code violations. It will enforce long overdue court-ordered repairs and impose $2.1 million in civil penalties, and will include binding injunctions that will prohibit further tenant harassment and require sustained compliance moving forward from this landlord, Levy said. Levy said the deal represents the agency's biggest settlement to date. Actually, the settlement announced today, Levy said, represents HPD's largest settlement in the history of the unit, adding that the city has additional tools it can use, including intervention in distressed buildings and, in extreme situations, removing buildings from owners' control and installing responsive management. Levy added that the city's immediate focus is getting violations fixed through the settlement, but warned additional action is possible if landlords do not comply. The intended outcome is safety and well-being for tenants, Mamdani said. We today are announcing a multi-million-dollar settlement with this landlord to actually rectify these violations. That is what we want to see. If a landlord cannot get to that settlement, continues to operate outside of the law, then we will hold them to account in additional ways. City Council member Shekhar Krishnan, who represents Jackson Heights, called A&E a reprehensible landlord and said enforcement is what tenants need. As a former tenant lawyer myself, I've always said that tenants' rights are not worth more than the paper they're written on if they're not enforced in reality. Here we are today, showing what enforcement looks like. Mamdani also announced what he called rental rip-off hearings across the city. We will be holding a rental rip-off hearing in each of the 5 boroughs within the first 100 days of our administration, he described them, as hearings where multiple agencies will listen to New Yorkers' needs and use that feedback to shape enforcement and policy.